So I decided to reflect back on specifically Chapter 4 of the Sanchez PAS report. In summary, artificial intelligence has great potential to improve city development's long-term equity and efficiency through integration with urban planning. This project is not without difficulties, though. The text addresses concerns like fear and uncertainty, talent gaps, data management, transparency, prejudice, and ethical considerations as it delves into the intricacies of implementing AI in planning processes. The study provides insights into how planners might manage the complexities of AI integration to maximize its potential benefits while reducing potential risks by looking at these challenges. A few essential points to take into account are the ethical deployment and opportunities and challenges. To fully utilize AI in planning processes, planners need to overcome obstacles like fear, skill shortages, bias, handling of data, and moral concerns. In order to promote equitable urban development, it is imperative that AI technologies be deployed responsibly and ethically in order to guarantee accountability, transparency, and justice. The article, Why Are We Failing at the Ethics of AI? By Andrew Casperson and Wendell Wallach identifies limited public discourse and education as a major factor behind the ineffectiveness of addressing ethics in AI. AI ethics discussions are frequently limited to scholarly settings with little public participation or comprehension. There's still misconceptions, and hypothetical threats tend to outweigh real-world effects. The media's tendency to exaggerate speculative hazards, such as the possibility that artificial intelligence would surpass human intelligence or create apocalyptic scenarios, is partially responsible for this.
The three topics I'm focused on are going to be the crash course video, the Journal of Urban Science, and Smart Cities video, which is going to be my outside source. And we're talking on week 14. So in this video, like, she talks about like how far society has come, like, and technology and everything, and how like cities that are so far away, and like she even used her own city as an example, like they look so much more alike than cities that are close to each other. Like she uses New York and London, and like it's mainly because of like you see like all these different McDonald's, like all these big businesses and that are being put like into major cities, of course, like because there's so many people that either visit them or live there. And well, some people don't like it because it feels like the city's losing their touch. It's not all that bad, and it's not truly the city's fault because they're just trying to adapt and put what the people want and what's going on in the culture and like what's big right now. Like they're just trying to meet the needs of the people. And she also goes on to talk about like if there's more surveillance and everything, how there's going to be it'll feel like there's like more manipulation, like there could be more manipulation and segregation on vulnerable groups like of people, and how that could be worse for them. And I think like just like her talking about all this different technology and like what the cities are doing like to try to stay in touch with like what's going on in the world right now, like how it could kind of backfire, but it also does have like its pros and cons. And that takes me into the Journal of Urban Sciences, because here we hear about like AI and like how much it's getting implemented into urban design and urban planning, and how much it really is coming into factor. And what really stuck out was like what AI can actually do and like how useful it is in certain aspects, which is why Figure 4, which is this one, um, really stuck out to me and like caught my eye, because it talks about like how like you see like the higher ratings are like for environment, economic development, demographics, and transportation. Like these are more like problem solving factors that don't really involve like, yes, the transportation and economic involves people, but transportation is for all the cars mainly. That's how I saw it. And economic is more like for the money. Like the people are there, but they're also more focused on other things. And when we get to like community development and involvement in zoning and plan reviews, like you see that those are the lowest scores, because those are more like people oriented stuff and like bringing the community together. Like, of course, AI does all this, but it can't have those feelings of like people and this and that. So that really caught my eye, because it just really shows how people are still needed and are still being used in workforces and everything, and how AI can only do so much. And I think that brings me to my next source, which is my outside, the smart cities. And in the source, like he has all these different like parts of the video which talk about different factors and stuff that happen. And there's this game Where is it? It's called Alpha Central, I think. This one right here. And in this game, like there's someone running through the city and they spray paint "We must dissent," which assuming from the government, right? Because this is a government that's completely controlled by AI and other technological advances. And well, before anyone can even see this, like he disappears because they use like the different like technology they have to stop him and erase this without anyone ever seeing it. And then he goes on to talk about this book and how if people who are in charge now were to see this, like, and if it gets into their hands and that's like their plan and what to follow, like it could lead down the wrong path for people as a society and everything. Like in cities, like this is an example. He used like these AI robots with guns and cameras that see everything that's going on and stop everything. Like who knows what could happen. And of course, that is like the worst scenario possible. And he goes on to talk how like AI also has the goods to it. Like it can bring people together and have all their ideas come together. Like even if they're so far away or say like they don't have the transportation needed for that, like they can use a computer or something and it can come together and make this amazing plan. And I think that's what really stuck out to me in this video, like how people still have control. Like there is still that control, but it just needs to be acted on. And he just talks about AI and all these different like uses it could be for, like for transportation or making a green space. Like people have all these options. And I think that's kind of what wraps up like everything as a whole. Like, yes, AI is expanding and there's so much going on, but people still have a say and something to do with it. And it just like means a lot, like knowing that people can still do this and still have a part of it. Like AI can't do everything. And something I do wonder about is like we see AI already going everywhere today. Like imagine I want to know how much is it going to get faster, slower, like if laws are implemented or not, and how big of a change is it actually going to make? Like are we going to see robots like this in our cities like in the next 5, 10 years maybe? Or are we going to see like these amazing concepts come together as like one huge whole of the people coming together? Or is nothing going to change? Or are we going to be like in the same area we are right now, like if laws were to be implemented? And I think that's just like what really caught my eye.
I did Abbott's Imagining the Futures. This is in the week 14 portfolio, and I'm in group 6. So this article talks about the futuristic urban landscape that are portrayed in different fiction novels, you could say. A lot of this is in contemporary urban development, and a lot of these fictional portrayals of these cities that are futuristic, you know, they're going to dazzle audiences. They're going to be extra, you know, crazy, if you will, to really sell their point on what the future could be. Just like you saw in articles from 1970 predicting the year, 2025. It's just not always unrealistic, but it's always out of reach. Once you start reading it, you realize that the gap between fiction and reality is very complex and it's vast, and you can't find a common point for those two in the future. The article also discusses the role that urban planning shapes in these cities and how it's a huge part, and even, next year, the year after that, depending on the market, as we know, it's terrible, but that can also help and extend the lifeline in the future for these cities. And lastly, from this article, it was more the complexity needs to be understood, but it's more of the urban development side that needs to be considered for technology to be able to advance. This includes social, economic, and obviously environmental factors, all to come into one and create the future that we want and perhaps even need. The second piece of work that was outside of the class, it was a TED Talk. The Future of City, A Future in Cities is what it was called. And explored the evolving landscape of urbanization and the implications for future societies. It discussed how cities are becoming increasingly central to human existence, and more than half the population is residing in urban areas at this time, as we discussed in class at one point. To follow up, and in this, it emphasized the importance of sustainable urban development and the role of technology plays in our future cities and societies. And it kind of gave us a call to action, if you will, for creating these inclusive and thriving cities that can meet the needs and wants of the current and future generations.
My name is Aiden, and I'm going to give an overview of the planning with artificial intelligence. So the PAS C604 reported title, Planning with Artificial Intelligence, explores the significance and impacts that AI can have on urban planning. It introduces the major AI applications as machine learning, natural languages processing, neural networks, and computer visions. It addresses their roles and important uses in urban planning tasks. The report really emphasizes the potential AI has to enhance planning efficiency and addresses all the ethical concerns. It discusses the importance of equipping planners with the power knowledge of AI in order for them to implement in the improving of planning cities. Thank you.